What is up, everyone? Thank you for joining us in another Overwatch Odyssey League matchup. Tonight, unusually on a Tuesday, we have got Kaiju Core going up against Loggers. It should be a pretty good matchup. Kaiju Core hoping to extend their dominance so far in this league as they are currently undefeated and holding down the number 1 seed pretty easily, but that's not to say their throne won't be taken from them. We have plenty of games coming up to decide that. And then we have Loggers on the other side doing really well so far in the season, jumping up to the number 3 seed here recently, hoping to keep that top spot for themselves, but also hoping to climb a little bit more as well. So excited to see what the Loggers can do here tonight. Commentating with me, the one, the only, Yvonne. Yvonne, what's happening?
Oh, nothing much. I'm happy to be back. Always an honor and a pleasure.
Well, we are happy to have you.
To be honest, I can't wait to see these two teams. I've been co-commentating with the Loggers game. I think more than one at this point. But I have not been here for a Kaiju Corp game, to my knowledge. Can't wait to see what I'm walking into tonight.
Yeah, it should definitely be a good match. Kaiju Core throughout the season so far has really shown some dominance against their opponents that they faced off against, but they do have some tough matches coming up, and Loggers, who have proven to be a pretty good team, could definitely be a pretty competitive matchup between the two teams. And like I said before, Loggers, they have done a decent job, I would actually say an excellent job so far holding their own ground against the teams that they've come up against. And Kaiju Core is going to be a tough matchup. I think they could have it in them, but it's going to require 110, maybe even 120%. So we're going to hop right into things. We have got a control game mode at Busan, and of course I made sure to make it Night Busan because you gotta love on the night maps, honestly.
Yeah, you don't see the night maps too often if you're not doing a custom game. Like, I don't think there's any maps that are normally nighttime in QP other than that one ice map that I know you really don't like. It always seems to be nighttime, but other than that,
ugh,
yeah,
gross.
by the way, spawned my camera in. I'm like halfway across the ocean. What just happened? Okay.
Alrighty. So for whatever reason, I think Busan is a little bit bugged where it spawns the spectators outside of the map. So you have to do this really weird lock onto a player and then unlock from the player to get to where you want to be. So we're getting that figured out there for Yvonne, but otherwise I think we're getting ready to hop into things. We have got Felix playing tank tonight instead of Hyuka, but Felix has done some really great things, actually holding down, I believe, the number 3 or 4 spot for total elims for tank. We've got Sandbox playing Sojourn, Hollow on Lucio, Saturn on Tracer, Weemy High on Lifeweaver. Nilox going with Sombra, and we've seen Nilox play Sombra quite a bit. Nagini on Moira, Balmalok on Lucio, who has played an excellent Lucio so far. Lady Ska on Sojourn, and Tsukuyomi on Orisa.
It is the first team fight in not on the point, it's in this room over here. That's not an often occurrence that I see, that both teams attempt to do such a serious flank and kind of get caught up in the mix.
And 2 down for Kaiju Core, only 1 down for Loggers. So far looking like a pretty good fight for Loggers. Weemy High able to get Balmalok down. It looks like the team fight is going to even out a little bit. And Loggers are going to make their way to the objective first here.
I believe it was the last time I was here and I was co-hosting with Loggers. I have to admit, Suku, I know that Suku just went down, but I actually really love the way Suku plays Orisa. It's just such a great, they know what they're doing with the rotations, always just so, I mean, Orisa's just a great tank. I love working with Orisa. She's such a great, bulwark to get over. You can't really go, like, you can't just move straight through an Orisa for multiple reasons. Obviously the immobility is one, but it's, as far as tanks go, I know, again, nobody's friend in Overwatch. Everybody's not gonna like me, but I love Orisa as a tank. I don't think everybody keeps saying, "Oh, keep nerfing Orisa." I'm like, no, she's exactly where she needs to be. A tank in a game like this really shouldn't be dropping as much as many would believe. Like Sig and Orisa, I think, are the two perfect tanks as of right now.
Yeah, and the other thing too, with the drop of the one tank going down from the two that we had in Overwatch 1, I beefing them up a little bit, but also, you know, their sustain with the help of the supports, I think, can be proven to be beneficial. Earlier in the fight, though, I don't know if you noticed, Holo got a pretty good boop there on Nilox, but unfortunately it counted as a self-inflicted elim. And then Tsukuyomi shortly after had another incident, also going off the side of the map. Not sure if that was another one of Holo's boops that just didn't count or not.
Yeah, I think it was Pipes telling me this yesterday. Lucio's bugged with that, where it's showing up as melee kills, it's showing up as like self-inflicted. I think it was Pipes telling me that there was something bugged about Lucio's boop ability.
Yeah, and Kaiju Corps getting a team kill there right toward the end. That may be this first map against Loggers. Pulse Bomb sitting here from Saturn. Saturn looking to make a good pick. Does not get the stick, but does get some decent damage. Ult's now coming out. Sandbox using Railgun here. Does get taken out by Bommalok. Lady Ska now also popping Railgun here. It could potentially be the last team fight. Does go down, unfortunately. And
I was kind of looking forward to Sugu just being an absolute menace, just going full goblin mode on Doomfist for that last few seconds, but that wasn't quite what happened. Darn it. I was looking forward to that. I was like, oh yes, we're just gonna go full Doomfist goblin mode. I couldn't wait. Oh well.
Yvonne, I think you ought to know that here in chat we've got some dislike being shown toward Orisa here, saying Orisa is the third worst tank in the game.
Yeah, I saw that comment. I am not here to be everyone's favorite announcer. Okay, I love Flashpoint. I love push maps. I get it. New Junk City is my favorite map, and I'm a Overwatcher main. Okay, I get it. I'm not supposed to be anybody's friend.
Looks like we are going to see a monkey mirror here. That'll be interesting to see. Both tanks swapping off of Orisa. Maybe hoping to counter the other with that monkey pick. And Lady Scott does get Felix down here. Kaiju Corps now backing up, able to get another pick there. Looks like Loggers are going to win this first team fight.
I feel like Loggers definitely needed to make this push, literally, to ensure that they get their opponents off the checkpoint. Loggers, I've seen it before. They do wonderful work together as a whole unit. As I said, I was gonna say the first match, whatever you want to call it, is always gonna be a little bit shaky. We're not quite sure what we're getting ourselves into. We gotta shake off that little bit of anxieties for the first round. But that being said, Kaiju is working really well, keeping themselves together, keeping themselves as one big group as well, and just covering all their bases, keeping all opponents at. I really like that fade. Kind of like Lady Scott and Nailocks are just cleaning house.
Hey, I have to point out, I don't want to interrupt here, but Holo and Bommalok got boops on each other, boop kills on each other. I don't know if y'all saw that in the feed there, chat, but that's something to point out.
Became the very thing they sought to destroy.
Hey, when you have Lucios and monkeys going up against each other, wild things are bound to happen.
I was also kind of hoping for a Sombra mirror to go so that everything goes to just crazy.
And Beat comes out just a little bit too late, unable to save Nagini there in that team fight. You see counter monkeys coming off here. Felix really chasing down Nilox. Unable to get the pick. Tsukuyomi getting a pick there on Sandbox, chasing down Saturn. Saturn is going to go off the side of the map with the help of Balmalok there. And Good hack from Nilox there. Now Kaiju's going to dive onto point here. Rush coming out from Weemi High. Railgun coming from Sandbox.
I really liked that hack from Nilox. Proven to be a pretty even first match happening. We got Kaiju takes the first match. We got Loggers taking the second match. Yeah, I think we're gonna have another 3-2 crazy. It all comes down to the wire night again.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. Yeah, I love seeing this, and the best way to have a control map is when you're tied 1-1, and you've got nothing left to hold for this last map. Both teams hoping to come away with the win on this first map. So exciting to see what both teams are going to bring, what both teams are going to change. Looking at the lineups here, you see Felix is going to be switching up to Orisa again. Sandbox now playing, wow, I just blanked. Symmetra. Saturn now switching to May. It'll be interesting to see. It looks like they're maybe expecting an Orisa coming from Loggers, but they're sticking on that Monkey. So I wonder if some swaps are going to happen pretty quick. Oh, it looks like Sandbox is going to be going back to Sojourn, maybe getting that fast spawn there.
Feel bad for Symmetra. Feel like, imagine your legacy is alright, everyone's teleported up to the front. What am I gonna do? Alright, we're gonna switch you out now. See you later. Aww. I feel bad for Symmetra.
Some early picks coming on both sides. But it looks like Kaiju Core is going to come away with this first fight. Oh, looks like we had a DC. We are going to go ahead and pause for a second here.
We were having too much of a good time. It was too amazing. The team fights were going too good.
In the meantime, I gotta say, this has turned out to be quite the exciting matchup. I can't necessarily say that I wasn't expecting it, but I think, especially coming off of that match against Jade Dynasty, definitely I see quite a bit of improvement coming from Loggers. Kaiju Core for a while seemed to be almost the undisputed #1 seed, and right now the Loggers are saying, hey, you're not going to be sitting up on that throne. Yeah, you're not going to sit on that throne forever.
You know, despite, you know, disconnect, which is probably why Loggers got pushed off a little bit, I honestly, again, I can't complain about any of the other two maps that we've seen so far. I think, I really do, as I was saying, we're going to have a nice, good 3v2 match tonight. I kind of wish Pipes was here for that, because I would love another down-to-the-wire moment with him. That was incredible, but here, I'm really happy to see a nice, even, matched game where, you know, and it's anybody can rule here.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see, like I said, Loggers have definitely shown some improvement, especially against very tough teams that they've been facing lately. And right now, they're really kicking it up a notch, really playing at that 120% level. And if they keep this up, they could really pose a serious threat to Kaiju Core. And right now, they're undefeated record. So I'm excited to see more of that coming from the Loggers. And, you know, losing one team fight in this last map of the, well, I guess last location of the first map, that doesn't mean anything. Now, they did get a 100-0 Loggers did on that last location there on this first map. But at the end of the day, some crazy things to expect, I'm sure. Just figuring out what's going on here with Felix as we're still on that pause. I am going to, looks like Felix is back. Got to readdress the DC issue because I know we had this. I believe it was against... man, now I'm blanking. I don't remember which team it was against. Maybe Midnight Muses, I believe. Definitely had some issues with DCing, and I don't intend to make this another 2.5-3 hour stream. because of some DC, so hopefully we can get this figured out. In the meantime, looks like Felix is back, so we are going to be getting this match back underway.
You gotta feel a little bit bad for Felix, because now Ultimate's gonna be reset to 0. It's gonna be just that little bit harder to get that first, Felix being a reset. That at times being able to just pull all your opponents just towards you for a few seconds, like a not Zarya grab, can actually make or break a team fight, because you can combo with so many different things.
It looks like Loggers are going to come away with the second team fight, able to cap the point and get some percentage going their way. I think definitely have to attribute some of that to Felix having DC'd, but unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Now, Felix swaps D.Va. Not the best counter in the face of Winston, but I do really like the idea of going to D.Va. D.Va can just build ultimate so quickly and make a lot of space with that bomb and get a lot of kills off with that bomb. And as for the rest of the team, you know, aside from the Winston, we gotta Sojourn, we can eat those. Lucio, Sombra, Kiriko, almost lost all of their names for a second. Again, other than a Winston, you're pretty well set off as a D.Va.
And beat is dropped for Kaiju Core, ensuring the capture of that point, as Loggers are going to get 50 and beyond. And it looks like Nilox there playing maybe just to get that last bit of percentage as we're going into this next team fight. Every tick counts, especially in a match, or in a map, well, match actually, a match that's going to be coming down to the last wire here.
Yes. Alright, Suko said, alright,
switch,
the monkey ain't working. Suko's like, yeah, the monkey ain't working, we're going straight to Zarya now. You're going to deal with my beam.
You see EMP cast, it is going to get rid of Weemihai, it is not going to get rid of Weemihai's ult there. And several picks coming from Tsukuyomi here. Bomb being dropped, possibly just being used for a remake there. Tsukuyomi stopping Sandbox's ult there. And Late's got to get another pick. Felix is going to be DC'd here. Felix does go down. And Tsukuyomi is going to get hollowed down, as well as just Saturn there fighting on a point and going down as well. Railgun is used by Lady Ska. Maybe a little preemptively, but it did turn out to work in the long run. Able to get a pick with Railgun still. And moving forward, we are now going to see a Zarya swap from Felix to counteract Tsukuyomi playing here. Tsukuyomi almost having grab too. This will prove to be huge in these last couple fights coming up. Grab is being used. Beat is dropped to counteract, keeping the team alive here.
Oh, I really like that Baptiste mortality field.
Saturn has Death Blossom. Could look, and there it is shut down there by Tsukuyomi, who is still living and getting picks. Sandbox really low. Hollow is in trouble. Hollow does go down here. Felix now swapping the ball in order to maximize the potential to stop Loggers from coming away with this first map. And Tsukuyomi does go down. Window is going to be used. Bamalak hacked here. Beat is dropped. This could very well be the last fight for either side. Kaiju Core does have the point.
Thinking, it might be first map, really.
And that is going to be the first map. Nail biter for me.
Alright, props to you, Balmalok, for that play of the game. I don't know if I could have kept up with all of that as Lucio.
There's a lot of things happening,
There's
and
so much happening at once in that play of the KO. Like, yeah, you know what, smart plays from Balmalok. He really picked his 2 targets perfectly. Yeah, you know what, 4 players, they can be just as dangerous as anybody else.
yeah, definitely some great play. And Loggers, it was within reach. Kaiju Corp able to take that away and come away with the first map. Definitely great effort being put on from both teams in order to ensure who's going to come away with that first map. And honestly, I thought the Loggers had it, but unfortunately Kaiju Corp, again being that #1 seed and having that dominance that they've displayed so far throughout the season, coming away with it and proving, hey, this is why we're the #1 seed. And I'm excited to see more of this matchup coming up. I'm truly excited to see this.
You know, I'm always a bit of an underdog rooter, and I feel bad, but I'm kind of gonna be rooting for the Loggers just a little bit, just because I always love seeing these underdog stories where it's just like, yeah, we're here too, and we're coming for your throne.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, Loggers had a tough matchup last week against the then Jade Dynasty, but now coming up against Kaiju Corp, who so far has decided or shown that they are the better team. Loggers have put on quite the matchup, and I'm excited to see more and more of that in these upcoming maps. And it looks like we are going to be going an escort game mode at Havana. Definitely could be a Widow map, and I believe Saturn plays some Widow. I could be mistaken on that, and I feel embarrassed as we are over halfway through the season, and I'm still not 100% sure the characters that players will choose, but definitely could be a very good Widow map, keeping that distance there, especially on that first point. Havana definitely has some open sides. That first point is very open. That third point to finish off the map is very open as well. It's where it gets into that second point where it's real nitty gritty and not a lot of open space and open room for something like a Widow. But definitely excited to see what the teams come away with here.
You say great Widow map. I say great Pharah map. I'm just gonna... just because you have all that open space that you can fly around in and get up close and personal with people, get far away from people, and just shoot. I think this is actually a great map for Pharah. Just because it's just a nice outside map. I mean, not most of the maps are outside in this game, but
yeah, you know, I do like seeing some Pharah play, especially Pharah is one of those heroes where I just enjoy seeing a really good Pharah along with Doomfist. Honestly, I mean, I hate playing against good Doomfists and good Pharahs, but I enjoy seeing them play, and I think that could be quite the clash here. Like you were saying, Havana is definitely, especially in those open areas, could be a very good Pharah map. But if the other teams are running a Widow or Hitscan in general, that could also prove to be very problematic. Looks like both teams are ready, so we're going to go ahead and get things underway. So aside from a potential Pharah and a potential Widow, what are some other things, Yvonne, that you're hoping to see or looking to see here in this next map between the Loggers and Kaiju Corp?
there's specific characters or specific strategies you want?
Either. What are some things that you enjoy seeing on this map?
Well, as I was talking about the last map, I love when I like to see a nice... I use the MMO terms again. I love seeing a nice ball group from the Loggers. I love when they stick together and they do what works best for them. Which, again, at times with certain characters like Tracer, like D.Va, that can be a bit of an issue, yes. But unless there are specific moments where you could truly exploit that, I think having a nice group that's consolidated together, keep your tank in the front, your supports in the backs, and have your DPS go nuts. I mean, it's gonna work. It's gonna end up working. And I am now just noticing Balmog. So first off, both teams have Zen. Both teams have Sigma. Both teams have Soju. This is about to get really hectic really fast.
Yeah. Those mirrors looks like they're both trying to play maybe a little bit of a poke there.
Sombra's gonna have a lot of fun. Nailbox is gonna have a good deal of fun on this.
And I like seeing this matchup between Saturn's Tracer and Nilox Sombra here. So it'll be good to see. You see Nilox is already trying to close in here on Zenyatta. And Sandbox is going to get the first pick. And you see Hollow there rotating back to help Weemy high in order to prevent an early pick here. And Balmalok getting the pick on Sandbox. That's going to be huge, you know, taking some picks while you're on defense here. Got that, I wouldn't say necessarily a long spawn, but definitely have quite the wall compared to the attackers here.
Yeah. This first turn to get into your first checkpoint is I'm not gonna say it's a test of skill, but it at times it can be a bit of a test of patience, I should say, because of just the defenders have a really good opportunity. They have a lot of good high ground, a lot of good open space, as you were saying. So this is a great map for Widow. So this initial push, just to get it up to this specific point, is kind of one of the biggest hurdles you got to get yourself over in the entire map. Because the next area is kind of a lot of corridors, a lot of high ground, yes, but it's a lot smaller in an area where you can keep your opponents a lot more consolidated.
Yeah. And I think that the comps that both teams are running are very well balanced for both the distance and the open areas and the confined spaces here in this second point. So it'll be good to see how these teams face off against each other. Looks like they are going to be fighting for the high ground a little bit here.
You know, Sig is a really interesting tank on this map, in my opinion, because Sig has a maximum range with his orbs. For that first initial turn, it's a little bit difficult for him at times just because he may not have the range to get at his opponents. But once we get into this room, this is where Sig starts really shining as a tank.
And a great combo there.
You can't escape him.
Able to get 4. They are going to try and track down Sandbox Scott here.
I think Tsukuyomi kind of showcased that a little bit, where it's just somebody could get caught up in his ult. That's why I'm saying Sig, for the first hurdle of this map, struggles a decent amount. But once you get to this big warehouse area, it really turns into Sig's favor.
And Saturn able to get a pick. Looks like Kaiju Corp is going to be able to contest here. Not getting away. Sandbox, sorry, Lady Ska contributing, and Felix getting a pick there, but not before going down to Balmalok there. That Discord proving to be quite effective. Saturn getting some very good picks on Cassidy here. I think making that swap off of Tracer is going to be very beneficial. Able to maybe keep some distance on Nilox, but also that Hinder hopefully preventing that Translocator out of danger. And the Kaiju Core sitting on 1, coming up on 2 alts. Meanwhile, Loggers have 2, possibly coming up on 3 here.
I mean, Summers is a renowningly quick ultimate build, if I remember correctly.
And Tranquility is going to be used by Balmalok, rendering Felix almost useless, getting some very good picks.
Ow. Lady Scott, that was a really mean shot. Oh, that looked like it really hurt.
I mean, they're just moving and grooving here with a little over 3.5 minutes yet to get this final checkpoint in here.
Guys. There we go. Yay. I think I spoke to you about this one time before. It's really interesting that Overwatch doesn't have a game mode. I know it would be a cluster mess, but hear me out. Team Deathmatch Overwatch map where you have to rack up the most amount of kills possible, and that's how you win. Instead of doing like an objective, that is your objective, is eliminations.
With the help there of the rest of Kaiju Corps, they do shut down Tsukuyomi's ult. That is going to prove to be huge in these upcoming team fights, losing that ult there. Sometimes I think with that flux, you can kind of see the other team get grouped up and maybe get a little bit of tunnel vision, but unfortunately, that's not going to maybe hinder loggers too much. You see Tsukuyomi is now switching to Ramatra, especially here in this open point, but Tsukuyomi is going to go down. Looks like Saturn is getting a lot of damage, but does go down to Nilox, does get hindered. And you see Sandbox now chasing and able to translocate out into safety. And looks like we're going to be seeing a Zarya mirror match again.
Hey, if it isn't broke. Alright, once again, we're going back into that big open area.
Another EMP. Shutting down Lady Sky here on that ult. Felix is just marching into the backline here. Tsukuyomi is going to get a pick. Saturn does get Baumalok there. And Tsukuyomi is going to go down. Nilox going down as well. But Lady Scott able to finish off Felix with the help of that Orb of Death. An ult being popped here by Saturn. If nothing else, a zoning ult as the team regroups. Hoping to look over the corner. Is not going to be able to get the pick there, but does end up getting the pick outside of ult there. Sandbox taking down Baumalok here. I love the awareness and the alertness you see having Nilox play that Sombra. If you didn't see here on screen, you hear that hack and Saturn immediately turns looking for Nilox there.
You know, Cassidy becomes a really scary character when you realize that one of the big gimmicks of Cassidy is you've got that honing grenade that has big hindrance ability. You've got that tracking ult, the Deadeye or whatever it's called. I really like that ult from Sandbox. I feel bad I didn't get anybody, but I was good placement.
And loggers are able to get several picks there, and that's going to be a team kill for loggers. They're going to get some really good progress. 20 seconds left here for them to complete the map, but it is going to be a very grindy push. They're going to have to do everything they can. No early pick with the help of Immortality coming from Weemi High, saving themselves there. Another ult coming from Saturn, able to get a pick. Felix taking down Tsukuyomi. Is going to be Nilox and Nagani fighting here for point. Nilox does go down. Oh, I apologize. Nagani had already been eliminated in that fight. Nagani was not there. Round one, very good push coming from loggers. Kaiju Corps able to hold them off from completing the map. It'll be good to see now what Kaiju Corps is going to be doing on the offensive side.
I feel like we are kind of having a mirror of the other night, where also on our payload map, it was literally like 2 inches before the last checkpoint.
Yeah. And you know, I definitely, again, see some very, very good things coming from loggers. I'm excited to see now what they can do on offense. Again, Kaiju Corps having been so dominant, it is, I would say, unusual to see them struggle so much here with loggers. And that's nothing to take away from loggers, but just, I would definitely say this is unusual to see coming from Kaiju Corps. And I'm honestly here for it. You know, I can't say that I have necessarily any favorites, even though I am the manager of Respawn Rangers. I can't say I have any favorites, but I have to stay impartial, you know, Yvonne. But, you know, seeing some really good play coming from loggers, especially against the #1 team, is always very interesting, very exciting to see. It looks
You
like you're
know,
getting that Pharah too.
I was about to say, I think Alox's ears were burning. It's like, I got this idea. We're gonna play Pharah. This opening area is just such a great area for Pharah because you have such great perching opportunities.
Alex taking a lot of damage, going down to about half HP, but surviving.
Kaiju is just like, nah, we're moving this payload. We're gonna do it right now. We're not gonna waste any time. Yeah, it's gonna take. The loggers all had to push, and they're like, no, we're not gonna have to let this happen. But I really like that Nailbox decided to go far. I think Pharah can do a whole lot for this opening area. A lot of stopping power.
Sorry, I'm kind of locked in on Sandbox here, looking to see if any picks are going to be made.
Like, to be perfectly honest, I can't, like, I keep looking at Tsuku, I keep looking at Nailbox, because they're two, I mean, obviously the tank player, there's going to be a whole lot of action right front and center, but I just can't help it. Also, once again with the Sig mirror match, going from Zarya back, Felix goes from Zarya back to Sig.
And Nilox is going to be the first one going down here for Loggers. Lady Scott now getting hollow here. Taking down a support can definitely hinder some movement, but it looks like Kaiju Core is going to keep going. Lady Scott getting another pick there on Sandbox, now without the DPS, now down both supports here. Loggers are going to make their move. And Nilox is going to get an Elim there. Nilox is back. Looks like Loggers are going to be sitting on just about every ult. Kaiju Core coming close, but not having anything just yet. But in this next team fight, it could be pretty easy to build these ults here. Definitely Weemy High having that tranquility is going to be very good protection coming for the Kaiju, or coming for Kaiju Core. And a great pick there from Sandbox, able to get Lady Scott down. That is going to be huge.
I guess we're both getting our wishes. You got the Sandbox, Widowmaker. We got Pharah with Nail Ox. We're getting all our favorite map picks. Goodness, we got a lot of ults happening. We got a Widowmaker, we got Baptiste ult happening, we had a Sojourn ult a hot second ago.
I think Loggers were really hoping to be able to prevent Kaiju Core from capping this first point. They are now going to be backing up, giving Kaiju Core now 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes, as they're getting ready to go into this next objective here. Or I should say next checkpoint.
Checkpoint may be a little bit just easier to hold because it's close quarters mayhem. It's just this is again an area where Sig as tank is just going to be able to shine a lot more. Now unfortunately we got two Sigs on the field, so both are going to be able to shine a lot. But you have equal chances of offensive as of defensive.
And Weemy High very low, unable to finish the Elim. I spoke too soon. Tsukuyomi is able to get him. Nilox able to get hollow. Felix does finish off Nilox though. That Pharah ult is kind of a glass cannon, does a lot of damage, but puts you in a very vulnerable spot. Nilox still able to get that trade though. Working out well. Sandbox is going to be switching to Soldier, really counteracting Nilox playing on that Pharah. See, Felix is going to be sitting on, and there it is. There's the Flux. Two picks coming from Loggers. Loggers are holding this objective very well. Unfortunately, Felix not able to I'll say maximize the flux like we saw from Tsukuyomi when they were on offense. Sandbox getting picked. That is going to stagger Kaiju Corps a little bit here.
You know, I'm not...
And
I'm not
Nilox
always
does
one-
go down. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm not... Me personally, I'm not always one for holding high ground because I'm always worried about people in the back line on my opposing team pushing that payload or trying to cap that point. But, you know, I'm always happy when I'm proved wrong with a thesis on that statement because the loggers for a good while was holding that high ground. They were preventing the payload from moving almost at all. But honestly, I think Felix with that Diva swap actually is helping a good deal with that soldier, with that... I'm sorry, there was a lot of going on. We had 2 ults, we had so much.
And it looks like they are going to almost solo alt Weemy high there, but definitely proving to be very beneficial. Getting rid of that Discord is going to be huge. Sandbox now coming back. Sorry, Saturn now coming back, hoping to get Tsukuyomi. Does. Balmalok is going to be chasing down. And Saturn does go down. They are going to have to do everything they can in order to touch the payload. And Loggers coming away with the second map. And that is going to be great work from both teams, but Loggers really showing up and showing out. Again, giving that 110, dare I say even 120% in order to come away with that second map. Really, really great play from the Loggers. Kaiju Corps now being in a position, this is the first time they have been tied with a team, let alone potentially being down after this next map. Now, I'm not going to try and speak anything into existence, as I don't want to put that on either team or on myself. But definitely going to be exciting to see what Kaiju Corps is going to be able to do to come away with this next map.
Yeah, next map is, as I'm trying to remember, is push map. Alright, New Queen Street. So, I'm noticing, see, this is going to be a great hypothesis right now because both teams were doing so well when they were on offense of these objectives. Though I must say, I think Loggers proved to just show up that little bit of extra defense. However, push map, same reason why I like Flashpoint, you don't get that break. It is equal parts offense and defense. So now we're going to have to take both of those and both teams are going to have to put out all the stops for that.
Yeah, they're definitely, I mean, they've been making swaps throughout. So the question then lies in, is it a composition issue? Is it a communication issue? What's going on there in Kaiju Corps' head? But fortunately enough for us, we are going to be pulling Sandbox God in here for an interview in just a moment, and we're going to maybe get into what's going on behind the scenes for Kaiju Corps.
Yeah.
Hey, Sandbox God, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing well, doing well. I got to say, I don't mean to come out, throwing maybe one would see as punches right away, but definitely an unusual position for Kaiju Corps to be in. What is the team's thoughts going into this third map here?
Just have to pull it back, make some adjustments and win next map.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't take anything away from how any of you are playing so far. You guys have been playing an exceptional game, but I gotta say, I believe maybe it was Balmalak who said ready to give 110%. So far, I'm seeing that from the loggers. In terms of communication, what are some things that you all maybe are adjusting to or adapting to on the loggers side?
Probably adjusting who we consider to be the weak link to properly target.
Okay.
Because obviously trying to target a wrong person can make the fight not turn as much as well as you would like to. So probably need to adjust that.
Sure. Understandable. I know at least when you were on, I believe, defense, it looked like even though loggers were making a pretty good push, you were doing maybe a little bit better job at that than on offense. Are there any things, I guess, from what the loggers are playing that you all have noticed that have really kept you on your toes? Are there any compositions or heroes that loggers are playing that have really kept you on your toes so far?
I guess one thing about Havana is that the way they're playing the fire makes it hard for DPS to get a good angle.
Sure, yeah.
For instance, they're playing the far back left relative to attacker spawn. So you take a lot of offense to get rid of her. While she's attacking the front line requires the DPS to go really far forward, which you kind of can't do because the rest of the team's there.
Sure. I gotta admit, I really enjoyed seeing you play Widow a little bit there, getting some picks that were needed in order to push for that first checkpoint. I also have to admit, probably Kaiju Corps as a whole has a lot more experience playing together, getting that extra cohesion and team synergy. Are there things that you guys are really bringing into this and that you might be bringing into this next map that you think could really give you a competitive edge?
I think you can think of would be just lots of map experience of playing together, just getting back into a good groove and just letting it roll.
Sure, definitely. And my last one before I turn things over to Yvonne, I gotta ask Sandbox, what's the go-to snack for you, if any, when playing some Overwatch? What's the go-to?
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky. I love that. I love that answer. Beef jerky is top tier. But is there, okay, I have to ask though, so if it, now I'm going to seem like a fool for not knowing. Jack Link's is the brand, isn't it? The #1 brand or whatever. Is that the go-to, or do you have some local stuff that you keep on the side and really enjoy?
My favorite brand is probably called World's Kitchen. They sell really big bulk bags, so it makes it a bit easier to buy.
Sure.
But it's expensive.
Hey, cost-effective and still delicious. That's what I love to hear. Yvonne, do you have any questions for Sandbox before we get things ready for this third map?
Sandbox, no, I have a comment for you, Zorn, in a hot second, but
Okay.
I was gonna be like, all right, the next time I go to a house party for you for some reason, I'm gonna be like, all right, bring beef jerky and those cheese crackers. Got it. That's exactly what I need.
Beef jerky and cheese crackers. Well, Sandbox, thank you for being here. We're excited to see what you and Kaiju Corps bring into this next map. Good luck in the rest of your games.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Thanks. Alrighty, everyone. That was Sandbox, a DPS player for Kaiju Corps. Definitely doing some really good things, but really hoping to see Kaiju Corps kick it up a notch in order to elevate their game. On the other hand, Loggers, so far playing 110, I keep saying it, 110, 120%. They may have to be kicking it up a notch too as we're getting ready for this third map, which is going to be Push, the real nitty-gritty, brawly type style game mode. I'm excited to see what both teams are going to be bringing into this one.
I can't be more ready. As I said, this is my second favorite map type. Is Push. I just love the concept of it. You got to be on offense. You got to be on defense. And it was last time you and I were hosting together. You brought up the idea that for every team fight you lose, you got to win back too, and that is essentially how Push is really played. And I don't think there could be a truer statement for how you have to go about playing Push map. I'm sorry, I keep thinking of what Pipes was saying last night about Timmy and the whole. I can't get over
Timmy
that.
and the bus scratch.
Well, the first time you brought this up, I had no idea what y'all were talking about. Pipes had to explain it to me.
It's canonical, I believe.
It is. It's truly canonical.
But regardless, this is definitely going to be a very exciting match to see. Again, Kaiju Corp being in a position that they have not yet been in before. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to really kick it up a notch against Loggers, or if Loggers are going to continue to do what they've been doing, especially in that second map we saw there at Havana, being able to really dominate and show out, playing at that next level compared to maybe what they have been playing. And that's not to take away with how they've been playing so far. Again, playing an exceptional game up until this point, but now they're really kicking it up a notch and showing, hey, just because you're the number 1 seed doesn't mean that you're unbeatable. And I think we saw that. I believe Jolly made the comment earlier saying that it's unusual to see a map or a location per se go against Kaiju Corp, but then to be able to see that whole map go away from Kaiju Corp, definitely showing why Loggers have been able to climb as far as they have in terms of seeding. I'm excited to see more of that as we get things ready. It looks like Loggers and Kaiju Corp are both ready as we get things kicked off at New Queen Street.
Right. So, we're on a push map, Zoran. Who are you? Is any specific character you looking forward to seeing on this? We were talking about the Farah and the Widow on the last map. Who do you really want to see get played?
You know, it really depends on the style and the composition of the other team. I have to be honest, I do enjoy seeing Junker Queen here on tank, which seems maybe a bit unusual, but definitely would be interesting to see. Also, again, just kind of matching the play style of a push game mode, choosing some very brawly characters. Meanwhile, it looks like
your dream came true.
Yeah,
Felix
is going to be playing Junker Queen. Love to see that. Both teams may be playing. I mean, it looks maybe a little bit like Rush Comp coming from. I just blanked. Coming from Kaiju Corp, and then we look at Loggers playing that maybe Poke again. It'll be good to see how those teams clash here in this next one.
You know, I know we see him very often. He's always kind of here. I love seeing Lucio because you just getting from point A to point B in about 2 seconds flat can really make or break a moment in a push map. That can be anything from stalling the robot from just getting that 1 meter, keeping your lead, preventing a lead from getting any farther than it is, so just stalling at the moment. I mean, I know we see him literally everywhere, but Lucio's just can be so dominant on this field.
Yeah, and it looks like Loggers are going to be coming away with this first team fight. I really liked seeing Kaiju Corp really rush in order to get that first pick, but unfortunately maybe they spread themselves out a little bit too much. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but Loggers really able to capitalize and get those picks. Felix now switching off of Junker Queen. There's a tear running down the side of my face, but love to see that swap in order to try and maximize this. Kaiju Corp really just walking in here. Felix looking very low. Nagini does get picked. Nilox able to get 2. Saturn able to get Balmalok here. It is going to be 3v3. And Nilox looking very low. You saw that Kaiju Corp went to chase a little bit. Does get the pick, but unfortunately is going to allow Loggers to push a little bit more. But Tsukuyomi is looking... I spoke too soon. I thought Tsukuyomi was almost and definitely going to get eliminated there, but Loggers able to get back and really support Tsukuyomi and keep Tsukuyomi up.
Yeah, we were talking about Junker Queen a hot second, because Junker Queen also has, you know, good self-sustain, good ability to move around, support themselves when the team is out of parent. Sim also has this ability, and I think I really enjoy Sig for that because, you know, you have that black hole ability that just eats projectiles, and you can add that as a little bit extra barrier health or shield health or whatever the green bar is classified as. Good shield health, so you have that quick regen, So, as I said when I was talking about Orisa, and again, I'm not everybody's fan, but Sig and Orisa have those abilities where they just become really great bulwarks against. I mean, Zarya, equal parts can be just as deadly and just as sustainable when alone. It's
Yeah. I definitely would have to say something very similar about Sigma, though, with the very mobile and versatile shield that Sigma has, and then also being able to eat some oncoming projectile damage, I think proves to be very good. Nylox hoping to get a pick, does go down in Kaiju's backline there. Felix coming up on grab here. Tsukuyomi is going to go down. Saturn playing a very exceptional Reaper, able to get the picks where they're needed, and it looks like Kaiju Corps may be able to get that Timmy butt scratch first, but they are going to take the lead regardless of the outcome of this next team fight.
You know, ult economy is looking pretty good. We got 3 each for, I mean, Felix is at 97, so we're almost at 4 for Kaiju. And we're gone 3 for Loggers, so in a moment we got a pretty big lead. I'm imagining that we're going to see an ult or 2 on our next team fight. I could not have spoken soon enough as we're hearing.
And lots of ults coming from both teams.
Lots of ults. 2 Sojourn ults, we got a Kitsune Rush, we got a Baptiste window. I did not, no, Nailbox did not. Now I'm concerned. We still got a whole EMP stored away.
And Kaiju Corps is pushing past the butt scratch, able to get some really good progress here. So again, not only do they have the lead against Loggers right now, but they're closing in, not quite halfway, but closing in on potentially finishing off the map. Still 5 minutes left to play here, though, so nothing to get too excited about. But again, this is that Kaiju Corps dominance that we were talking about. Felix does extend quite a bit, but 3 picks coming from Kaiju Corps, able to really progress the, well, push Timmy pretty far here.
You know, Timmy's coming pretty far there. I know they have that forward spawn point active as well, so they're also going to be able to return from spawn a lot faster, keep this fight going a little bit extra in their favor. Though backing off
I think they opted to not want to take that team fight without their tank. Death Blossom.
I don't blame for that, because if you want all your aces in your places when you're this close to your final objective.
Certainly.
Because yeah, they're holding a pretty solid lead, but if you can just push to the end, like that's the end of that map. Like, you don't have to wait all of those 4 minutes 14 seconds.
And Saturn getting a huge triple kill. And able to finish off Nylox in spawn there.
Effectively a team kill. It's a team kill in our hearts.
And Beat is going to be dropped. Lady Ska going down. Tsukuyomi going down as well. And Nylox is going to go down. It's just Nagani, but Nagani does go down. And Kaiju Corps able to complete the map.
You know, in my opinion, I think Kaiju Corps really took the idea of a good defense is better offense, because we saw they were struggling a little bit on defense on the last map, so we could put them on a push map, and they're like, all right, that's it. We're just not gonna ever stop pushing this robot, and by doing that, we're gonna have the better defense.
Definitely. And I mean, that's nothing, again, not to take away from the Loggers. The Loggers having a very good push at the start, but at the end of the day, Kaiju Corps is just able to win team fight after team fight and just really progress or dare I say, push Timmy all the way to the end. And I think that definitely proved to be, I mean, a good turnaround, but also a good momentum shift for Kaiju Corps. So definitely excited to see more of that as we are preparing things to a hybrid map at Blizzard World, which is personally, maybe it's because of Mischief and Magic, but I really enjoy the map Blizzard World.
I miss Mischief and Magic. That was a great freaking. I love that arcade mode. I love that arcade mode because I never played Prop Hunt, which is what that's a bit essentially based off of. But I like pick up things where I'll memorize every ounce of the map's location. So me and a friend of mine would just like tag team as the Genji, and I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna bloodhound them out because I know every single prop on this entire map. And you're just gonna, and I'm gonna get stunned. You're gonna KO them. Got it? Got it.
Sure. I mean, I gotta admit, I absolutely loved Mischief and Magic, and even as people were able to memorize spots and stuff, I gotta say, I had some pretty cracked hiding spots, and one of them, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, I believe it's Iceman Bry is his name on YouTube. I found one of his spots on the new Mischief and Magic without having watched this video, and I watched it and I thought to myself, man, I should have copyrighted that spot or something, because now like everyone checks there and it took away the effect. But anyhow, back to the match at hand. We have got, again, Blizzard World, Kaiju Corps, and Loggers. Definitely so far a very good matchup between the two teams. And I do see in chat Saturn popped off on that last map, and I couldn't agree more. Saturn definitely had a really huge play in the success of Kaiju Corps in that last map, and I'm excited to see more of that as we're getting ready to go into Blizzard World. There is going to be a swap on sides, though, so Loggers will be attacking first, if I remember everything correctly, and Kaiju Corps will be defending first. And I'll be excited to see how that changes things. You know, definitely I think being on attack first has some disadvantages in the term, or I guess in the sense that you have to push it as far as you possibly can. I mean, that's the gist of Escort and Hybrid. Hybrid also, you have to obviously capture the objective. But the essence of it, when you're on defense, knowing how far you push it on attack really can shift that mentality as to how hard you have to defend or anything. Now, granted, the mentality of, oh, we're just going to give 100%, 110%, 24/7, great mentality to have, and I love it. But definitely there could be a little bit of a mentality shift depending on how you do on offense first.
You said, yeah, to piggyback on that idea, the biggest moment, as always, I mean, in any game mode, is those like first opening like 15 seconds. This is how fast can you get onto payload. And the biggest thing with this map, unlike Hybrid, is you don't have to capture the payload. You just have to get to it, and you just have to clear your enemies off of the thing. So that's what makes, you know, a map like this a bit more nuanced. Because the second you can get all your opponents off, you can just pick it up and start walking it.
Sure.
Now, Blizzard World has a very interesting opening spawn, if you ask me, because it's really hard to flank and just get up to the checkpointed area to grab that payload. Now, that being said, as we've seen so far tonight, this could be anybody's game, regardless if you're on attack or defend.
Sure. And, I mean, if we have seen anything so far, you are 100% right in saying that this could be anyone's game. And I know that this first push onto the objective for Blizzard World can prove to be very nitty-gritty, brawly type style, needing to get through. There being only essentially, I would say, 3-ish entry points, getting past that first choke. So definitely going to require a lot of effort, and not to say we haven't seen that so far, but definitely you're going to require that 110, 120% from Loggers. I'm excited to see. Looks like Nilox is going to be playing that Pharah again, Nagane on Kiriko, Balmalok playing the Lucio, Lady Ska again on Sojourn, and Tsukuyomi playing the Monkey. Now, Felix is going to be playing Diva, Sandbox on Widow again, which we saw some on Havana. Hollow playing Brig, Saturn on Echo, and Weemi High on Lucio. Definitely some very strong-looking team comp so far. I can say that I'm excited to see Sandbox on Widow, especially maybe anticipating Nilox playing on Pharah. Excited to see how that plays into things here.
You know, you're excited to see the Widow. I'm excited to see some Brigitte. I love whenever Brigitte comes into play, just because Brig has such a great opportunity to. I know it's not Overwatch 1 Brig, but Brig, when you come to the word as a support character, Brig has an amazing ability to truly support the tank because she can be so far in your face. Brigitte can just be in the face, just right next to the tank in that regard. So, I know it's not Overwatch 1. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just had to say Kaiju Core getting some fairly early team picks, now taking down 3 loggers, so they're making some very good progress in capturing this objective. Go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just saying, I know it's not Overwatch 1 anymore, so we don't have 2 tanks. And I know Brig never was a tank hero, I understand that, but I just love the ability to just kind of duo in that way.
And a great effort so far from Kaiju Core, able to capture the objective fairly quickly, now having a little over 5 minutes to push it to this next checkpoint here.
Yeah, that's the thing with these payload maps supposed to hybrid. As I say, you just pick up that payload and you just start taking it. That's the thing. And I kind of love just seeing when this happens. We just have a what was it called, a payload princess moment where Cassidy is just by themselves, just okay, I got this. Don't worry, guys. I'll take care of it.
That's fair. Looks like Nilox is going to get a pick, getting 2 picks on both of the supports for Kaiju Core, now causing them to have to back out a little bit. Tsukuyomi hoping to get Saturn, who is very low HP, unable to do so. They are Tsukuyomi is going to stay back and stay grouped with the team. Definitely some very great picks coming from Nilox there in order to halt Kaiju Core's progress there. And we are going to see a dupe coming from Kaiju Core, getting that monkey duplication, getting nanoed even. And able to get that ult, does get slept by Nilox, or sorry, by Balmalok here, and it does go out of dupe, not able to maximize the potential with that ult. Does take quite a bit of damage. Balmalok almost won that fight. Saturn going down to 8 HP. But with the help of Felix, able to survive that fight. And Saturn is going to be able to get the pick on Nilox before Nilox is able to get Weemi High. Definitely a great, I would say support, but maybe that seems counterintuitive to say that. Felix getting a pick with the Diva Bomb.
You know, I kind of love that. I don't know how to explain this. So we have Winston, who's a very agile tank, a very, he jumps in and jumps out. Diva is a bit of the Paradox version of it, because Diva, can do that glidey fly ability. It has that ability to move in and out as well, but Diva can equally be a hold your ground tank.
Sure.
Where you just kind of plant your feet and you're like, nah, I'm done here. Because you can eat so much punishment that you otherwise would have. Now, obviously that defense matrix only works directly from the front. Obviously, team characters and others such the like can't do to get straight through such a defense matrix. Alright, I'm gonna cut myself off. We have a Kitsune Rush, we have Rig, Pop, Rally. We also had a Bio Nade for a hot second there.
And a lot of damage coming from Kaiju Core. Sandbox able to get Tsukuyomi and Lady Ska down. Duplication is used.
Kaiju proving it once again. The best defense is a good offense, where it's like once that payload is in motion, it's not gonna stop. So you better be prepared to, keep it rolling.
And Nano being used on Felix, being at that 90% energy, really getting a lot of good damage, able to get Tsukuyomi, and that is going to be the first round. Great grab from Felix there in order to complete the map.
Yeah, as I was saying, Kaiju, once they start rolling, there's not much that really stops them.
Yeah. The momentum game is massive for Kaiju Corp, and I think they're really, especially seeing how they played this map here so far, definitely really showing the mentality, that number 1 seed mentality, saying, you may have gotten a map from us, but that doesn't mean that we're not the number 1 team anymore. And I love to see that mentality and able to bounce back. Obviously losing one map isn't the end of anything, and Kaiju Corp really displaying that here.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really happy to see the roles reversed. Okay, that was a weird noise. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the roles reversed. I really can't wait to see what Loggers do. We've seen Loggers have a good offensive push. So yeah, I'm just here. There's 13 seconds. I'm ready. I'm pumped.
We're here for it. Chat, are you here for it?
Okay, Tsukuyomi is doing my absolute favorite thing on the planet Earth, which is playing Ram, because Ram is going to be... Hey, if you want to hold poked into your enemy's lines, this is a great way to do it. Also, I'm loving this flanking maneuver where Kaiju Corp's like, wait, where are they?
And there is the rush. They're going to jump in, but Felix is going to counter, getting very low, but able to get that first pick on Balmalok, really slowing the rush that the Loggers really hoping to get there. And Tsukuyomi doing a lot of damage. Saturn getting a pick. Nilox getting a pick. Saturn getting a second. Sandbox assisting. It looks like it is just going to be Tsukuyomi unless Balmalok is able to get back in time. And Balmalok does, providing as much support as Balmalok can. Balmalok does go down. Again, it is just Tsukuyomi. I think that's that communication that we heard from Sandbox God, really picking targets and focusing, prioritizing, hey, let's get the support down, and then we'll refocus on Tsukuyomi here, who's all alone on point. Swaps being made now. Tsukuyomi is going to try their hand at Winston. Nilox going back to that Sombra that we've seen some really good things from so far.
Sombra has just this entire match just been so good on every map. I mean, that's just the kit of Sombra that just makes such perfection. Because you have a character that just has this hack, she fades, teleports, hacks. Sombra just by alone just can be really interesting because you can do exactly what Nilox is doing and just be like, alright, I'm in a distraction, I'm gonna grab 2 people, I'm gonna take them away from the rest of their group, I'm gonna, see if I can get a pick in.
Sure. And, I mean, immediately after seeing, utilizing the scoreboard to their advantage, seeing that swap, if you notice as we were watching, you could see that the Kaiju Corp immediately started looking around. Hollow started shooting around, trying to see if Sombra's up there hanging out with them, trying to get a pick there. And Sombra, Nilox, looking to get a pick there on Sandbox, but ended up getting the virus on Weemy High and getting that pick that way.
Again, this is just the nature of being or playing Sombra. It's just, you're going to be in the face of everybody. You're just going to get Oh no, now there's a Tracer as well. Okay, everyone's just gonna be sneaky sweeper action. We've got Moira, we've got Tracer, we've got Winston, we've got Sombra. Everyone's just gonna be sneaky little... You're either never gonna hit us, or we are going to pester you like 10,000 bees.
I like seeing this. Loggers have really adapted to a dive comp, with the exception of maybe Balmalok playing there rather than maybe a Kiriko. definitely doing some really good things. Felix looking very low. Anti is placed on Felix, but Felix able to get out of danger there. Lady Scott getting nano. Bob coming out. Beat coming out.
Alright, that Bob was huge. That Bob was pretty freaking
from
big.
Kaiju Core. Huge hold from Kaiju Core. Really able to hold off what could be the very last team fight. Now Loggers are in the position where they have to rush toward point, maybe playing a little more aggressively than they'd like to, but they're not only playing against Kaiju Core now, they're playing against the clock now.
Which is by far the scariest opponent you could ever go up against, is that freaking clock. Because now, unfortunately, there just isn't any room for error.
And Nilox able to get a pick, but Hollow able to get Nilox before any more damage is incurred. Felix able to get 2 picks there. It's just Balmalok. Balmalok does go down to Saturn. It's going to be Lady Scott trying to hold as long as possible, but does go down. Kaiju Core able to get the 3-0 win in this map and effectively giving them the match win.
Sandbox, alright, I see you. I see you launching yourself in the air to get that pick. I love when people do stuff like that. The hand-eye coordination that is required is always incredible every time.
Yeah, and I think maybe Saturn, or I should say Sandbox, read chat a little bit, seeing Saturn get that praise. Sandbox decided, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn.
His ears were burning.
Yeah, ears were burning. And I gotta say, like we see here in chat, a statement from Kaiju, I couldn't agree more. Again, definitely looks like Kaiju was struggling toward the beginning. Loggers really showing up and showing out. But Kaiju, again, just reinforcing that number 1 seed, dare I say Mamba mentality, if anyone understands that reference. But just saying, we are the number 1 team for a reason, and we're going to prove it here. It's not, every team struggles, but Kaiju Core, again, just showing we are the top seed for a reason, and we're going to make sure we stay at the top. So definitely really good things.
We are the champions, my friend. I'm sorry.
Hey,
but it is that mentality. It is that, in fact.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Definitely, it is that mentality.
Now, I'm sure everybody who's been watching the streaming knows that the night is not, in fact, over just because Kaiju has won. We still have 2 more matches. We still
one more.
We still have 1 more. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. We've got 1 more map coming up, and it is going to be Yvonne's favorite, Flashpoint at New Junk City.
It's because I'm here. The universe is like, hold up. We gotta make sure Yvonne's coming. We gotta make sure we're doing New Junk City.
And we're going to be seeing if anyone from Loggers would like to do an interview here before this final map. And maybe not coming away with the match like they may have hoped, but definitely nothing to hang their heads low for. So definitely excited to see what their mentality is going into this last map. All right, and it looks like we are going to be pulling Tsukuyomi in for the interview before we go into this 5th map. Tsukuyomi, what's happening?
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Oh, nothing much. Just enjoying a really, really good game and really well-fought match from the Loggers. I gotta say,
I know, right?
I was talking. I apologize. It was either Nilox or Balmalok talking about how you guys have been really putting in the work. And I gotta say, I have seen that effort. It has not gone unnoticed. What are some things that you guys have really been working on in order to maximize maybe the cohesion and your overall team play?
Well, we knew that we had the J Dynasty and the Kaiju Corps right next back to back in our schedule. So we knew it was gonna be hard, but yeah, we trying to work. We worked because we knew Kaiju Corps play a lot of dive, so we kind of worked on our dive too. Because coming up in the beginning of the season, we were playing a lot of rush. We were like a rush brawl team, and we didn't practice much our dive, and we tried to put a lot of work on it, and it paid off at some times. It showed, yeah. So yeah, that's what we worked on, and we worked a lot on our communication again, and yeah. No, we're pretty happy with the outcome of the match, even though we're losing 3-1. But we're really happy to have won a map against the biggest team in the league.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I have to give you credit there. Whether you are aware or not, Kaiju Core, this will be only their third map that they've lost, I believe, all season. So I got to give you guys some praise for that. Definitely putting in some work. And although Kaiju Core may remain that maybe undefeated Titan at the top of the leaderboard, definitely something to show that you are putting in the work and you are improving your game overall. And I got to admit, personally, I loved seeing your tank play tonight. I loved seeing you really get in there and get right into Kaiju Core's face and really just try and push as best you can. I loved seeing that. And I got to say, those swaps that you were making too seemed to be pretty beneficial and definitely aware of the situation. So kudos to you on that. Definitely some really good things coming from you on tank tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
I gotta say, so down 3-1, match is effectively in Kaiju Core's possession. I believe I asked this maybe the last match that you guys were in. What's the mentality going into this fifth map that you guys have at this point?
To be honest, we're kind of like happy with our match. Even though we lost the last two map, which went not really well, we're kind of happy with how things worked out, and we're looking forward to win the last map. Yeah, we really want to win the last map. So,
Yeah.
We're positive, and yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love that mentality, and if I can base anything off of, I believe, the first map at Busan, the control map, if I can base anything from Flashpoint off of that, on the second map, you were, the loggers, able to get 100% to 0% capture from Kaiju Core. So I'm excited to see how that plays into this Flashpoint, which is essentially much faster and I'll say much more movement required control. It's essentially a hybrid control in a sense. But definitely I'm excited to see you guys, see you do that. I'm excited to see this next map, and then of course your next match. I'm excited to see what you bring into this. I believe it can be a little bit of a learning experience, but also I got to be honest, I'm excited to see if you guys can come away with this. I'm excited. I'm here for it.
Yeah, of course. Like you said, we're gonna learn from this match because I don't think we have ever played against a team this good actually. So
yeah,
we're gonna learn from it.
Yeah, that's exciting to hear. Some teams, they take a tough loss and they really just kind of meander in that space. Yeah, they keep their heads down and they meander until next week. And I think the loggers, if anything, showing great improvement and really learning from their losses and improving off of that. But before we get things kicked off again, so this is Flashpoint at New Junk City is what you're heading into. Yvonne, do you have any questions for Suku before we go?
No, I'm just gonna say good luck, because Flashpoint, you never really get that break that you really, sometimes you really want it, but it's just not gonna ever come, so I feel bad. You're playing my favorite match.
A long and hard match.
Yes.
But we got it.
Yep, I'm excited. Good luck in this next map.
Thank you.
And we're here for it.
Let's go.
Alrighty, everyone. That was Tsukuyomi, the tank player for Loggers. And again, definitely seeing some very exceptional stuff coming from Tsukuyomi and the rest of Loggers. And I'm excited to hear, sometimes going into this 5th map, it could be just like a for fun thing. Not really concerned about the point accumulation when you're maybe down 3-1 or even 4-0. But I'm excited to hear that mentality for Loggers hasn't shifted at all. And although they might not have won the match, they're hoping to get this last map for those points and really... maybe not necessarily knock Kaiju Corp off their top place in the seeding, but really knock away some of their point accumulation. So I'm excited for that. And we are just confirming with the teams that they're ready, and then we will be kicking things off for this 5th and final map. I didn't mean to cut you off, Yvonne. Were you getting ready to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, it's, this type of setup that we have where you get this even if you don't play, or you still complete the series of 5, no matter what happens. You're gonna play that 5. In a way, I really like the mentality Tsuku had, where it was just like, we're still gonna enjoy it. The last match, we're still gonna have a good time, and we're just it's no sweat. And that I think is the best mentality you could have for your last map of the night. Is like, alright, we're still here, we're still gaming, we're still having a good time. As you and I have talked about many times, Zoran, at the end of the day, having fun should be a top priority in a game like this.
Definitely. And I don't think having fun and being competitive negate one another. I think that definitely plays into, you can have fun and be competitive. And I think that's definitely the mentality, at least that I'm seeing from both teams so far. I think they're both having fun, but also that competitive nature is coming out. And I absolutely love to see that from both teams. Even if the score is showing 3-1, both teams are fighting as if it's 0-0. And I love to see that.
Yeah, I don't think you could get much better than that. It's just, we're still here, and we're still going at it. Alright, here we go. Getting started. My absolute favorite map of the game.
For sure. And it's exciting to see.
Must admit, I love Suku's running at it with opening with a Reinhardt.
And Felix does go down. Great wall coming from Nilox, able to prevent Felix from regrouping with the team. Saturn looking very low, does go down. Sandbox also low, but does survive and does get picked off by Nagani there. And Loggers are going to capture the first objective. We saw that Felix was picking Malga at first and then ended up swapping to that Zarya. Now after having seen that Tsukuyomi is playing that Reinhardt, one must question, is Tsukuyomi going to use Earth Shatter and then swap? Or is Tsukuyomi going to be trying to play through this Malga and really just position themselves well?
When it's a Reinhardt player, that question is always a good 50-50. You never know with a Reinhardt. Now that being said, Tsuku plays incredibly tactical. I think all night we've really seen that. That being said, Tsuku's doing a great job against this Malga. It's a huge disadvantage, but I'd say playing very well despite the fact that it's Malga on the other team.
Definitely. It looks like Tsukuyomi, at least for the time being, is going to be... Yep, I kind of assumed that swap was coming. Look like Tsukuyomi is going to go ahead and switch to Orisa. Balmalok able to get some picks there on point, but ultimately Kaiju Corp coming away with it and nearing 70%. This could very well be the last team fight between these teams. I should say, in this objective here. Weenie High is going to go ahead and get a pick using ult there. Sandbox now using ult as well. Not seeing anyone just yet, but still has 2 seconds. Felix does go down, but not before taking out Lady Ska. Nilox also going down. Saturn really pushing in as that Reaper. And Loggers having used Kitsune Rush, but ultimately unable to come away with it. Getting that last pick on Nagani. Kaiju Corps really pushing in, try and stagger. Just Balmalok standing to get that team kill, but Balmalok does get away. And Kaiju Corps is going to be on the objective first, going to really set in defensive positioning here as Loggers are going to try and make their way.
You know, I really like the use of Blizzard to make space. Like, yes, it's not the most, like... It's not a death claw, I suppose we can see, but I do like the idea that it was used in the idea to make space by Nilox. I feel bad. I feel like I've been butchering it all night. I don't quite know.
No, you're fine. To be 100% honest with you, Yvonne, and I apologize to Nilox, but that's just how it looks to me. So if I'm wrong, someone in chat or Nilox, please correct me.
Yeah, that's why I keep pronouncing everybody's character names, because I feel so horrible if I'm like pronouncing a name incorrectly. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Balmalok is going to be taking a lot of damage here, unable to get beat off in time. Tsukuyomi is going to get mortality, but nothing else. Nilox getting Mimi high, but Sandbox able to take down Tsukuyomi, and Nagani is just Nilox there. And that is going to almost certainly be the second objective there for Kaiju Corps. It looks like sitting on 3 ults for Kaiju Corps, just the one which is beat for Loggers. And the next objective is going to be forward. You know, almost in a way, I'm kind of thankful that the teams aren't having to walk back and forth, but also sometimes those fights in between points can prove to be even more important than the fights actually on the point. So
yeah, that stall can actually make or break, because you can get quite a handful of percent. You can be on that point, you get percentage up on that point. Sometimes the fight in between could be more important than as you said, it's the fight on the point itself.
A huge ult. Huge ult coming from Wimi High, putting that window there, allowing the amplified damage to befall Loggers. And it looks like Saturn is scoping out the other team here, and they are going to find Nilox. And definitely is still a very winnable game, but definitely not a position that Loggers want to find themselves in.
You know, that's just a difficult part with Flashpoint as a whole, is you're always going to be, you know, you got to keep that adrenaline going. But, you know, it's moments like this with characters, you know, like Lucio, like Sombra. I almost wanted to say Moira, and I'm like, that's not that character's name.
The beat is going to be dropped by Balmalok. Lady Ska almost having the ult forced out as Kaiju Corps is at 80%. Saturn using ult here. And Balmalok, I would say, almost winning the fight against Felix, but not quite.
Kaiju once again just proven the once their momentum is up, it's not going back down. It's just once they get that ball rolling.
Definitely. I gotta say, well played match from Loggers. Definitely putting in a lot of effort into their behind-the-scenes play, really getting in those practices and really showing that they were better than before, better than the last match. And I'm sure Loggers, if they continue to do that improvement, can really prove that they deserve to stay and be in those top 3 seeds. So I'm excited to see more and more of that coming from Loggers. I'm excited to be here, and I got to be honest, Squid admitted a little bit when we were watching another match, seeing a team play and admitting a little bit of intimidation. Respawn Rangers' next matchup is going to be against Loggers, and seeing this improvement that they're getting and the knowledge that they're able to take away from this match against Kaiju Corp could really prove to be a bit of, I guess, a gain for the Loggers in the long run, being able to take out, I would say, potentially another top team. But so far, I think the teams are really acknowledging the fact postseason is coming up and pretty quickly, and everyone's hoping to get the highest seed that they possibly can before we reach that point to really maximize their play. But so far, I can't say that any team is going to be at any sort of advantage or disadvantage. Definitely some really good play we've been seeing, and I know once we hit postseason, everyone's going to hit their LeBron James, their Jimmy Butler for basketball references, really hitting that playoff boost there. So I'm excited to see more and more of that. Yeah, just a lot of really great things we saw on what we can take away. And tomorrow we have got another matchup coming to you. Is going to be VTG Orion now against the new team, new and reformed team, I should say, the Loot Boxers, former J Dynasty. So you're going to see a lot of familiar faces, but they have gone under some rebranding and some new management there. So they are now the Loot Boxers. So they're going to be taking a fresh start, a clean slate, pretty late into the season, but with some familiar faces. I figured it would be all right. So be there for that matchup. Definitely should be a good one. And then we will be going on Respawn Rangers and Loggers. So Loggers will not have much of a break, as next Monday, in just 6 days, Loggers will have their next matchup, and it will be against Respawn Rangers. So excited to be there for that. With all that being said, well played to both teams. Thank you to both teams who are here. Everyone who's here watching, everyone who is here hyped up and typing in chat, showing the love for the teams here. Really love to see that. And, of course, huge shout-out, Yvonne. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Always an honor to be here.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. And as we progress through the season, hoping to have you commentate with me some more. But until then, again, we've got another matchup tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. That'll be VTG Orion and Loot Boxers. Definitely excited to see that. Man, I said tomorrow. I lied to all of you, and I apologize. That is actually on Thursday, so that's the 11th. VTG and Loot Boxers, still at 8 p.m. EST. But until then, I hope you all have a good night. Stay safe, and until next time, we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.